Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here today for a layout for Spiegelmom Scraps design team, and I am going to be doing a sequin pocket. You'll see in front of me I have a cut file that what I did was I went on to Google Images and I Googled wave PNG, and this was one of the things that came up. So I decided to make it into a cut file, and I'm going to pick out a few pattern papers to back a couple of the areas, and then in a couple of the areas I'm going to make a shaker pocket. So, or a sequin pocket. I guess I don't want to call it a shaker pocket because you can't really shake it. The sequins aren't really moving, but you get what I'm saying. So I am using everything from my stash for this layout. I have a folder, like a 12 by 12 folder or sleeve that I put summer type papers in there. And that's where I pulled out that kind of marbling looking paper. And I then went on the hunt to find other papers to coordinate with that. And you see I have 4 sequin mixes pulled out initially. I wasn't quite sure what papers I was going to be using right away, or how much contrast and whatnot I wanted to give with the sequin mixes. But the Hexafrost works out perfectly with these color tones. So you'll see I'm just backing my cut file. I'm using my glue. I use the Art Glitter Glue, and I just put the glue on the cut file and then put that on the paper and then cut it out. I am a horrible fussy cutter. I don't mind doing it. I'm just not always the most precise when it comes to fussy cutting. I don't know if I'm impatient, or I know my challenge is seeing the paper. I mean, I have to have my glasses on for sure. But anyway, in the end, you don't really see it anyway because it's covered up mostly. So I'm okay with it. So once I get this one backed, I'm going to then back that small bottom portion with this paper. I cannot remember where that came from, and I apologize. I feel like it might have been an Amy Tan paper, but I'm not 100% sure. And I've got that done. And then I get out an 8.5 by 11 page protector, and I just go ahead and glue both of those pieces over the page protector. Once I get those glued on, off camera, I'm going to sew along all of the white cut file. So I'm going to add in that white wave cut file that's going to go in between the two pieces, the two pattern papers. And then so you'll see me cut around the whole cut, or you'll see later on that after I get it all adhered and stitched, I'm going to stitch all the way around the white, which I'm not going to do on camera because it's really not fun to watch. So this is a picture of my son at college. He goes to college at University of North Carolina in Wilmington, which is right by the beach. And it's he and 2 of his buddies, and they are surfing that particular day. And this is going to go alongside of another page that I did in the past of pictures of Austin actually surfing. So they're all from the same day. I just did 2 layouts side by side. And I used those acetate letters to spell, I'm not there yet, but you're going to see I used acetate letters from my stash for the title once I get that out here, and I love how it turned out. And I really dug deep into my stash with this layout and pulled out items that I have had for a very, very long time. So that was really fun to do. So you see there, I have stitched everything. I'm kind of trimming off all of the loose threads, and then I'm going to fill those two wave sections with the sequins. And I absolutely love, like I said, I love how it turned out. It was very easy. I used a pencil to kind of push the sequins to get to the bottom, and that worked out really well. I'm not going to show you the whole process. I think I'm going to show you where I did one of the wave sections, and then I will cut out and do the rest off camera. But there I am moving it down and trying to get, it's pretty full, so it's not to where the sequins are really going to move much, but they just really add a lot of sparkle and shine down there. All right, let's see what I am doing here. So I'm going to then glue, once I get this done, I'm going to glue that onto the back of, onto that white paper. And then I'm going to look for another paper to back in that little clear section that you see there at the top. So here I am going to finish up that one section, and when I get it all filled in, I just take my sewing machine, I use my sewing machine and just sew it all shut so the sequins can't sneak out of there. So what's your favorite ways to use sequins on your layout? I would love to hear what your go-to is for using sequins. I tend to either use them in a pocket like this, or I will stitch them on my layout in some sort of a pattern, or I will use them for sprinkling, depending on, the look of the layout and what I'm looking for. So there I pulled out another piece of blue paper from my stash, and I believe that was from, oh gosh. I do not remember. Again, a super, super old paper pack that I had at one time, and most of those papers now are in my stash, in my scrap bin or in my stash. So I'm kind of tracing the offcut from the cut file to get that the right size. And what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of slide it in there underneath the outline that's already sewn in there, and that worked out perfectly. Thank goodness, because I really was not, I guess I wasn't thinking ahead when I sewed everything down without having backed that area first, but it ends up working out. Here's, you're going to see, I'm going to glue it right on top of the page protector, and that's what I did with that large piece as well. I just glued it right on top of the page protector. So, and then I will be getting my photo out, and I ended up using a 6x6 pad by Bo Bunny, and I typically don't use much Bo Bunny, just doesn't ever seem to fit my style, but I loved this kind of beachy, somewhat surfing paper from an old Bo Bunny collection, and I am going to pull out a few different pattern papers and audition them to see what I want to use on the layout. And I ended up bringing in some orange to this layout, and I like how that contrasts with the blue that's already there. It really makes the blue pop, and I feel like the title pops, and it really all works out well. So here I am. These are those Bo Bunny papers, and I had gotten this 6x6 pad at Tuesday morning probably a year ago or more, and it's just been in my stash. I'm going to pick just a couple of papers. I'm going to do a basic, just a basic border around my photo, not too much layering. I didn't want to add too much on this page because I really did not want to take away from the sequins. So you're going to see very, very minimal embellishing, and yeah, that's it. My struggle came with what was I going to use for my background paper. I did not want to use white. I thought that would have been way too boring. And so you'll see what I come up with that I found in my stash that I really felt worked out absolutely perfect. So here I am, still backing that photo. I probably could have cut a little bit of this out. I apologize. And you see on the photo where you've got kind of that dead space of the sand, that was a perfect spot to hold part of my title. And that's where I'm going to use the acetate. Now there's my background. That is an actual surfing paper. It was from, what was that from? Again, I got that at Tuesday Morning, and it's an old Kaiser Craft, I think, paper. And it was really cheap, like $2.99, and I think you got like 5 or 10 sheets of the same paper. So I kind of felt like it was just sitting on top of that paper. So I decided to use some gray cardstock and pull some of the gray that you see along the bottom and up in the corners of this background paper and kind of pull that to the surface. And I felt like doing that, it really made it all tie together much, much better. And what I did is I had already still had the cut file in my Silhouette Studio, so I went ahead and just made another circle and then, kind of reduced the size a little bit to make this ring to put on there. And then I ran that through my sewing machine so that would have the same type of stitching as the rest of the layout, so it would tie in. And now I am using, because I'm going over quite a bit of stuff. I've got the pattern paper it's going over, which is stitched, or that where it's got a stitch cut file underneath, and then under that is the page protector, and then it's going on top of the white circle. So I really wanted to make sure that that gray piece stayed down, so I'm using some of that red sticky tape, which really did work out really well. So you'll see where on the left there I didn't actually fill in that whole cut file, and that's okay because that's where my photo is gonna hang out there. Here I am finishing this up. This layout really did not take me very long. The longest part was the stitching probably, and I'm not the best person on the sewing machine. It was not easy sewing those waves. I can sew a straight line, no problem, but sewing those waves was quite a task. So here I'm using my tiny attacher, and I'm attaching on that title that says Surf, and I'm going to put that down. I knew I wanted to bring in some wood veneer on this layout, and I had several pieces out that I was considering, but nothing shape-wise was really working out for the layout. It felt bulky, it felt a little out of place, and then I found that frame, the kind of wood frame up there, and I thought, oh, I'll house part of my title in that. That will bring some wood grain to the top. I'm going to have the rest of my title in wood grain underneath Surf, and then that would kind of pull it all together. So in the end, it's going to be titled Epic Surf Day, because I do believe this is them either going to a new spot to surf or finishing up from the day. So I'm going to glue those pieces down. And once I get the other part down of the wood veneer that says day, I was stuck. I just did not know what to do because I did not have any embellishments, but I did not really want to over embellish this anyway. Here I'm trying to audition, where do I want to put day? And originally that is where I was going to put it, and then I end up moving it underneath, which I'm glad that I decided to do that. I really like the look of that much better. I think your eye follows that down really well. And so I was looking through my stash, and I remembered I had bought on clearance again at Tuesday Morning a little Jolie's boutique sticker pack and I think it was like 50 cents. And it had a yellow, orange, and white surfboard, which was absolutely perfect for this color scheme. So I decided to bring that in, and I just think that that was perfect. It was the perfect embellishment for me to find, and I put that down, and then really that's going to be my embellishing. I am going to add a blue star on top of that surfboard, and then I'm going to sprinkle a few puffy stars up above the word epic, and then that is really going to be it. Like I said, I really did not want to do too much on this, and I've already kind of got a lot going on. This is a pretty busy layout for me. I've got somewhat of a busy back paper, pattern paper. I've got a lot going on in that circle with the sequins and the wave cut file and everything. So any more embellishing I think would have just been way too much. But I did want to at least do a little bit of sprinkling of something. So that's why I decided on the stars. So I'm going to finish up with this, and that's going to be the end of my layout. I will have some screenshots of the close-ups at the end. I would love for you to come and check out Spiegelmom Scraps Facebook page. It's called Spread the Sparkle, and you will get fantastic ideas of how to use your sequins and wood veneer, your shimmers products, all of those great things that you can find in the Spiegelmom Scraps store. I will leave a link to the store below, and always remember you can use my code, which is TISA15, so it's TISA15, and to get 15% off on your entire order. You saw my iPad come up there. I was scrapping with a friend through FaceTime, and I was trying to show her and get her opinion on adding those stars. So I'm sorry that I did not cut that out for you all, but I often will scrapbook with her and get her advice. So here is my layout. Again, I hope you all enjoy. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you've not already subscribed, I'd love for you to do so. I'd love for you to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back again. Have a great night. Bye, guys.